year 1966, something very strange began to happen in West Virginia and parts of Ohio. It started in a small town called Point Pleasant. One night, two young couples were out driving near an old TNT factory. This factory had been built during World War II but was now empty and falling apart. As they drove past it, they saw something that shook them to the core. A large figure appeared in the darkness. It looked like a man but had wings like a bird. It flew beside their car, keeping up with them even as they sped up. The creature had glowing red eyes that seemed to stare right into them. Its wings were huge, around 10 feet across. The couples were terrified. They pushed the car to go faster, over 100 miles an hour. But no matter what they did, the thing stayed right beside them. It was not just flying, it was chasing them. They finally reached the city limits of Point Pleasant. The creature disappeared. Shaking and scared, the couples went straight to the police. They told their story and soon the whole town heard about it. Newspapers picked it up and gave the creature a name. They called it the Mothman. That was just the beginning. Over the next year, people in Point Pleasant saw the Mothman at least 8 more times. Each time the description was the same: a large man-like bird with big red eyes. Some people believed it. Others said it was just a big bird. A sandhill crane maybe. These birds can look strange, especially if they are not in the right place. Maybe one had just gotten lost. Maybe it was nothing more than that. But not everyone was so quick to explain it away. The people who saw the Mothman were certain it was not a crane. They said the creature did not move like a bird. It followed cars. It stared at people. It felt intelligent and dark. They said it felt like a warning, like something bad was coming, and strange things kept happening. People started to see strange lights in the sky, unexplained flying objects, bright lights that hovered and zipped around. These sightings happened often, and they were not just in the sky. Strange men in dark suits started showing up around the town. They asked odd questions. They scared people. They seemed to know things they should not. People said these were the men in black. They were connected to the strange events. Some thought they were government agents. Others thought they were something else, but no one could prove it. This all built up for about a year. People were confused and scared. The Mothman kept appearing. The lights kept flashing. The men in black kept showing up. And then something terrible happened. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge collapsed. This bridge connected Point Pleasant to Gallipolis in Ohio. It was a busy time of day, rush hour. Cars were lined up across the bridge. Without warning, the whole thing gave out. The metal cracked. The pieces broke apart. Cars fell into the cold, dark water below. 46 people died that day. It was one of the worst disasters in the area's history. After the bridge fell, people started to remember something. Some said they saw the Mothman near the bridge before it collapsed. They said it had been watching, waiting, maybe even trying to warn them. No one knows for sure, but after that day the Mothman was not seen again. The sightings stopped. The lights stopped. The men in black disappeared. Some believe the Mothman came to warn the town. Others think it brought the disaster. Some say it was never real, just a shared panic. But even if it was just fear, the timing was strange. All the weird events, the creature, the men, and then the tragedy. It all seemed connected. Today the story lives on. Point Pleasant remembers the Mothman. The town even has a museum dedicated to it. There is a statue of the creature with wings and red eyes. Every fall the town holds the Mothman Festival. People come from all over. Some want to learn. Some just want to see where it all happened. Others believe they might see the Mothman again. The legend has grown far beyond that small town. Books have been written. Movies have been made. People still talk about the mystery. What was the Mothman? Why did it come? Was it real? No one has answered those questions. The truth remains hidden. But the story of the Mothman still haunts the hills and rivers of West Virginia. A dark winged shape in the night. A warning or a curse. A mystery that will not die. If you ever visit Point Pleasant, you can stand where the bridge once stood. You can walk through the museum. You can listen to the old stories told by people who were there. You might not see the Mothman, but you will feel the strange energy that still hangs in the air. The feeling that something happened here, something beyond understanding. The Mothman may be gone, but the legend remains. A story passed from one voice to another, a reminder that the world still holds mystery, and that sometimes the shadows hide more than just darkness. The Bell family moved to a quiet place in Tennessee around the start of the 1800s. The area was called Red River, and it was peaceful farmland with rivers, trees, and plenty of space. They built a small log house and began their new life. For about 10 years things were normal. Then the strange things began. At first it was just little noises. The family heard knocking on the walls. Then it became louder. It sounded like something was scratching at the wood from inside the house. Some nights they heard things being dragged across the floor even though no one was moving anything. These sounds would happen during the night, and sometimes even in the daytime. Soon the daughters in the family began to complain. They said something was pulling on their bed sheets. They felt invisible fingers pinch their arms and legs while they tried to sleep. The family was scared. They could not see anything, but they knew something was in the house with them. John Bell, the father, tried to keep the problem quiet. He did not want the church or neighbors to think they were cursed or crazy. He kept it all to himself, but after a while it became too much. He told his close friend James Johnston what was going on. Johnston did not believe it at first, so he decided to stay at the Bell house overnight. That night he heard the same sounds. The knocking, the dragging, the strange voices. The next morning he told John he believed him. Word started to spread. More and more people wanted to visit the Bell house to see for themselves, and the more people talked about it, the stronger the spirit became. It was like the attention gave it power. Soon the ghost began to speak. It used a loud voice that seemed to come from nowhere. It said it was the spirit of a woman named Kate Batts. People in the area remembered her. She had been called a witch while she was alive. That is how the ghost got the name the Bell Witch. The Bell Witch did not stay quiet. She liked to argue about religion. She would sing church songs loudly in the night. One time she repeated 2 sermons word for word while they were being preached at 2 different churches miles apart. People were shocked. They said it was impossible unless the spirit had been in both places at once. The story got so big that even General Andrew Jackson came to visit the Bell farm. He brought some men with him. They wanted to test the legend. But after one night of being pushed, yelled at, and threatened by the ghost, Jackson and his men left quickly. Later he said he would rather fight the British again than face the Bell Witch. As time passed, the attacks on the family got worse. John Bell became very sick. His face would swell up. He lost his ability to eat. He had trouble seeing. In 1820 he died. After he passed, the spirit claimed that she had poisoned him. A bottle of strange liquid was found, and when they gave a drop of it to a cat, the animal died right away. They threw the bottle into the fire and it burst with blue flames. After John Bell died, the ghost was still around. She talked to the family, especially to John Bell, Jr. She also tried to stop the Bell daughter Betsy from marrying the man she loved. Every time Betsy tried to spend time with her fiancé, the ghost would scream, slap her, or pull her hair. The ghost said the man was not right for her, and forced her to break off the engagement. By 1828, the ghost told John Bell Jr. she would go away for a long time, but she also said she would come back in 107 years to visit the Bell family again. That meant the year 1935. In that year, the closest living relative of John Bell was a doctor in Nashville. His name was Dr. Charles Bailey Bell. He studied the legend and wrote a book about it, but no one knows for sure if he was visited or haunted by the Bell Witch. Some say he never talked about it. Others say strange things did happen, but he kept them secret. Either way, the story of the Bell Witch has never gone away. People in Tennessee and across the country still talk about it. Some believe it was a ghost. Some say it was a trick or a lie, but no one has ever proved what really happened. The Bell Witch is now one of the most famous ghost stories in American history. People still visit the place where the Bell house once stood. Some visit the Bell Witch Cave, which is nearby. They say strange sounds can still be heard there. Cold winds blow in the dark. Whispers come from nowhere. And sometimes people feel something brush past them when nothing is there. The legend has lasted for over 200 years. It is still told in books, on TV, and around campfires. Some say the Bell Witch was a real spirit. Others think it was something darker. Some believe the family was cursed. Others believe their story was misunderstood. Whatever the truth is, the Bell Witch has become part of American folklore. A reminder that not everything can be explained, that sometimes something unseen watches from the shadows, and sometimes it speaks. So if you ever visit Tennessee and you find yourself near the Red River, remember the story, the knocks, the whispers, the voice of the witch in the night, the tale of a family haunted by something they could not escape. The legend of the Bell Witch lives on. A long time ago, over 200 years back, strange glowing lights began to appear over a place called Brown Mountain in North Carolina. People started to notice them and wonder what they were. The first known person to write about them was a German engineer named John William Gerard de Bram. He saw the lights and mentioned them in his journal in the year 1771. He wrote that lights were floating over the hills and glowing in the dark. After his account, stories started to spread. People began telling legends about what these lights could be. Those who saw them said the glowing orbs moved over the mountains. They seemed to float and dance silently. Sometimes they would just fade away. Other times they would burst like fireworks, but always without a sound. In the year 1922, the United States Ecological Society decided to investigate the mystery. They said the lights were nothing more than car headlights or train lights, but something happened that changed that idea. A huge flood came through and destroyed all the roads and train tracks in the area. Everything was shut down, yet the lights were still seen. That meant the lights could not be from cars or trains. The mystery got even deeper. Many people started to believe in different theories. Some said the lights came from gases under the mountain. Others thought it was a special kind of lightning called ball lightning. But many people still believe the old legends told by the Native Americans who lived there long before. One powerful legend comes from the Cherokee tribe. They say a long time ago a terrible battle happened on Brown Mountain. The Cherokee and the Catawba tribes fought a fierce and bloody fight. After the battle, many men were lost. The women who were left behind went looking for them. Mothers, wives, and sisters went into the mountains at night holding torches. They searched and searched for their loved ones, but they never found them. The legend says the glowing lights are the spirits of those women. Their torches still burn as they search the hills forever. This story has been passed down through generations, and even today people go to Brown Mountain to see the lights for themselves. They watch from the overlooks and wait for night to fall. Sometimes the lights appear quickly. Sometimes people wait all night and see nothing. But when the lights do come, it feels magical and mysterious. They float above the trees. They move slowly or quickly. They glow red, orange, blue, or white. They never make a sound. Forest rangers have seen the lights too. Even scientists from Appalachian State University have gone to the mountain to study them. They set up cameras and special tools to try and figure out what is causing the lights. But no one has found a clear answer. They have ideas but nothing proven. Some think it could be a mix of gases in the air that glow under the right conditions. Others think it could be static electricity or magnetic fields. But none of these ideas explain why the lights have appeared for hundreds of years. People from all over come to see the Brown Mountain lights. They bring their cameras and their curiosity. They hope to catch a glimpse of something unexplained, something magical. Some people come for the science, others come for the mystery. Some come just to feel the wonder. The mountain itself stands quietly. The trees whisper in the wind. The stars shine above. And now and then the lights appear. They rise from the ground or drop from the sky. They drift and glow, and then they vanish. For those who believe in the legend, the lights are a sign of love that never ends. Of women who could not rest until they found their sons, brothers, and husbands. For those who believe in science, the lights are a puzzle still waiting to be solved. For those who come to visit, they are simply something beautiful and strange. Brown Mountain has become a place where mystery lives. A place where the past and the present mix. Where old stories come alive. And where the lights still dance in the dark. No matter what people believe, the Brown Mountain lights are real. People have seen them for centuries. They are not made by humans. They do not come from machines. They are part of the mountain's soul. Some nights they come often. Other nights they do not appear at all. But they always return. as if they are tied to the mountain itself. So if you ever find yourself in North Carolina, and you have a clear night, try to find a spot where you can see Brown Mountain. Wait and watch, and if you are lucky you might see the lights too, floating, glowing, dancing in silence. A quiet wonder from another time. It was the evening of September 12, 1952. In the quiet town of Flatwoods, West Virginia, 4 boys were out playing on the field near their school. Their names were Edward May, Freddie May, Neil Nunley, and Tommy Heyer. The sun was setting and the sky was getting dark when something strange happened. The boys looked up and saw a bright object flying across the sky. It was fast and glowing, and it looked like it was on fire. The object seemed to crash into a hill nearby on a farm. The boys were shocked and curious. They wanted to know what it was, so they ran toward the place where it had landed. On the way they stopped at the May house. They told their mother Kathleen what they had seen. She decided to come along. Another person joined them too. His name was Eugene Lemon, and he was a young man in the National Guard. The group now had 6 people, 4 boys, 1 mother, and 1 soldier. Together they walked toward the hill. When they reached the area, they saw a strange red light glowing through the trees. It was not like a fire. It was steady and pulsing. Eugene pulled out his flashlight and pointed it toward the light. What they saw next was something they would never forget. The light lit up a creature standing near the glow. It was tall, about 10 feet high. Its head was shaped like a spade, and its eyes were glowing orange. Its hands looked twisted like claws. It wore something dark and shiny like a metal dress. The creature was not standing on the ground. It was floating just above it. Around it was a thick mist that smelled terrible. The air made their eyes burn and their stomachs turn. Then the creature moved. It hissed loudly and started to glide toward them. That was enough for the group. They turned around and ran as fast as they could. They headed straight to the sheriff's office to report what they had seen. The sheriff took their report seriously. He sent a team to check the area, but by the time they got there, the light was gone. The creature was gone. There was no sign of a crash or any wreckage. The place was quiet and empty. It looked like nothing had ever happened, but something had happened. All 6 people were shaken. They were not just scared, they were sick. They had trouble breathing. Their throats burned. Some of them threw up. These symptoms were very real, and they reminded people of mustard gas from the war. That gas could cause the same kind of sickness. Some people said it was all just panic, that the group had imagined what they saw, that fear had made them sick. Others had a different theory. They believed the group had seen a large owl. Barn owls have big eyes and can fly silently. In the dark, with fear running high, it was possible they had mistaken the bird for a monster, but not everyone agreed. The witnesses were all sure about what they had seen. They said it was not an owl, not a person, not anything from this world. They believed it was something real, something unknown, and they were not the only ones. After the story got out, others came forward. People from nearby towns said they had seen lights in the sky too. Some said they had smelled the same awful mist. The story spread and people began calling it the Flatwoods Monster. Over time, the story became part of the town's history. People did not forget what happened that night. They built a museum to honor the story. Visitors can learn about the event. They can see drawings and models of the creature. They can take photos with statues and signs. Every year people come to Flatwoods to hear the story again, to wonder, to imagine what really happened. No one has ever proved what the group saw, and no one has proved it was fake either. It remains a mystery, a strange moment in a small town when something from the sky may have touched the earth. Whether it was an alien, a creature, a bird, or something else, we may never know. But for those who were there, the memory is clear. The fear was real, the sickness was real, and the image of the glowing red eyes in the mist still haunts them. It reminds us that the world is full of things we do not understand, and that sometimes the truth is hidden in the shadows just beyond the trees. For a long time, the Cherokee people have told stories about strange beings who once lived in the Appalachian Mountains. These stories were passed down for generations. One of the most famous stories is about the moon-eyed people. The Cherokees said these people were not like them. They were small and had long beards. Their skin was very pale, almost glowing white. Their eyes were big and bright blue. But the strangest part was that they could not see in the sunlight. Their eyes were too sensitive. They were only able to see clearly at night. So they lived and worked in the dark. That is why they were called the moon-eyed people. According to the legend, these people would sleep during the day and come out when the moon was high. They hunted at night. They fished after dark. They built their homes away from the sun. They avoided daylight because it hurt their eyes. The Cherokee believed they were a race that lived deep in the mountains long before anyone else arrived. The story says the moon-eyed people once built strong stone walls to protect themselves. They were fighting with a neighboring group called the Creek Nation. For a time the moon-eyed people stood strong, but in the end they lost. After their defeat they ran away into the mountains. It is believed they hid inside caves in what is now North Carolina and northern Georgia. Some say they never came back out. People who hear this story often wonder who these moon-eyed people really were. Some think they were just a myth. Others believe they were real. The way they were described makes some people think of early European settlers, pale skin, blue eyes, and beards. But the Cherokee said the moon-eyed people had been there since the year 1170. That is hundreds of years before Columbus came to the New World. So if they were real, they did not come with the Spanish or the British. There is another theory. A long time ago, stories spread that sailors from Wales had reached America before anyone else. Some people said these Welsh travelers might have met Native Americans and started new groups. These stories were shared mostly by the British. They wanted to say they had more right to the land than the Spanish. Some people tried to link the Welsh legend with the story of the moon-eyed people, but this idea was likely made up. It was used to support arguments and stir up trouble. It did not come from the Cherokee people themselves. Even so, the legend of the moon-eyed people remains strong. And there is one strange piece of evidence that keeps the mystery alive. In the 1800s, someone found a statue near the place where two rivers meet. One river is called the Hiwassee, the other is the Valley River. This place is in what is now North Carolina. The statue is about 3 feet tall. It shows two figures standing side by side. They are joined together like they were made from one piece. Their eyes are large and round. Their faces do not look like typical native carvings. Some say the statue is very old, and may have been made before the Cherokee came to the area. That makes some people wonder if it was made by or for the moon-eyed people. The statue is now kept in the Cherokee County Historical Museum in a town called Murphy, North Carolina. People come to see it and learn about the legend. It is one of the only physical things linked to the moon-eyed people. It adds to the mystery. It makes people ask more questions. Who were these people? Why were they only able to see at night? Where did they go? Many caves still exist in the Appalachian region. Some are deep and dark. Some have never been fully explored. It is easy to imagine a small group of people hiding there long ago, living in silence and darkness, waiting for the moon to rise. Stories like these are part of what makes the mountains feel magical. The Cherokee kept these stories alive for hundreds of years. They did not need proof or science. They believed what they saw and what their elders told them. The moon-eyed people were part of their world, a mysterious race who stayed hidden from the sun and vanished into the shadows. Even today, hikers, campers, and locals say they feel strange things in the mountains. Cold winds blow through warm forests. Odd sounds echo from deep caves. Lights flicker in places where no one should be. These moments make people wonder if the moon-eyed people ever truly left. The legend of the moon-eyed people is not just about mystery. It is also about memory. It is a story that connects the past to the present. It reminds us that many things about this land are still unknown. The mountains have secrets. The forests have voices. And sometimes, if you listen closely, you might hear the whispers of people who can only see by the light of the moon. So the next time you are in the Appalachians and the moon is full, look around. Watch the trees. Listen to the quiet. You may not see them, but the moon-eyed people might still be watching you from the shadows. In the mountains of Appalachia there is a legend that has been told for years. It is about a creature called the Wampus Cat. People say it has glowing yellow eyes and 6 strong legs. It moves fast through the trees and makes strange sounds in the night. It scares both animals and people. No one is sure where it came from, but many believe it was once a woman. This story is often linked to the Cherokee people, but it is not a true tale from their own legends. It is a story about Cherokee characters, and a warning about curiosity and breaking rules. A long time ago in a Cherokee village, a woman became curious. Her husband and the other warriors from the tribe would go into the woods before a hunt. They did not go just to hunt. First they performed secret rituals led by a powerful shaman. These rituals were meant to give the hunters strength and protection. Only men were allowed to see the ceremonies. Women were forbidden, but this woman wanted to know what happened during those rites. She wanted to understand the power her husband gained from them. So one night she made a plan. She took the skin of a cougar and wrapped it around herself. She crept quietly through the woods. She found a spot behind a large rock where she could see the fire and the men. She stayed low and watched as the shaman began the sacred chants. At first no one saw her, but then the shaman suddenly stopped. He turned and pointed to the rock. He had known all along that someone was hiding. He walked toward her. The warriors stepped back. The woman stood up. She was caught. The shaman was angry. He told her she had broken a deep law. She had seen something meant only for warriors. So he spoke words of power and cursed her. Right then her body began to change. Her legs grew longer and stronger. Her arms turned into paws. Her face became more like a cat's, but her eyes stayed full of human fear. She became half woman and half cougar. She became the Wampus Cat. The shaman told her she would roam the forests forever. She would live alone. No one would speak to her. No one would help her. She would be wild and full of rage. That was her punishment. Since then people have said the Wampus Cat still lives in the hills. She is fast and angry. She attacks animals without warning. She watches from the shadows. Some say she screams at night. Others say they have seen her glowing eyes through the trees. Over time, the story of the Wampus Cat spread across the Appalachian region. Different towns told it in different ways, but the heart of the story stayed the same. A woman who saw what she should not. A curse that changed her forever. A creature that now haunts the woods. The name Wampus Cat has a history too. It is believed to come from an old name for the eastern cougar. Back then people called it a catamount. That word turned into catawampus. It was a word people used for any strange animal they saw. Over time it became Wampus Cat. In the 1960s the name was used again in a strange way. In North Carolina, a newspaper called the Goldsboro Argus reported something odd. People in the hills said they saw an ape-like creature walking upright. It was big and fast. The paper called it the Wampus Cat. The name made the story spread quickly. People rushed into the woods hoping to find the creature. They brought cameras and weapons. They made noise and scared themselves. But no one ever found anything real. After a while the sheriff ended the search. He said it was all a hoax. Just a story that got out of control. Even though the search ended, the legend did not. The Wampus Cat stayed in the minds of people. Parents used the story to warn children. They said if you stayed out too late, the Wampus Cat might find you. If you wandered too far into the woods, she might follow you. She was still out there, still angry, and still looking for revenge. Some believe the Wampus Cat is just a tale made to scare people. Others believe she is real. Some say they have seen her. Some say they have heard her. No one has been able to prove she exists. But no one has been able to prove she does not. The Wampus Cat has become a symbol of mystery and fear. A warning not to cross certain lines. A reminder that some knowledge comes with a cost. She is not just a monster. She is a story. One that keeps growing with every new sighting and every new telling. So if you ever find yourself walking alone in the woods of Appalachia and the night grows quiet and cold, listen carefully. If you hear leaves rustle or feel eyes watching you, it might be her. The Wampus Cat, still cursed, still angry, still hunting in the dark.
If you liked the video, don't forget to like and share. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this.